My next guest is a creative genius, an entrepreneur, inventor, businessman, and manager of a family trust. A trust set up to protect his father's creative legacy. His father being, of course, the father of invention, Frank Zappa. He and I have worked together to invent a new sound technology called Resonix. But most of all of that, he's an amazing person and an amazing father. Could you please welcome Amit Zappa?
Hey, Amit.
Hey, everybody. I'm good.
Good to see you again, bro.
I'm so happy to see you, man. I mean, look at this.
I know.
We're having the power of technology. We're hanging out again.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. It's really good. So, mate, welcome to the first episode of my show. For people that may or may not know you at home, you're a really amazing man. You do all this incredible sort of business and entertainment, and you've been around the industry and doing all this incredible stuff. But to sort of snapshot, what I'd like to do is try and get an understanding of your process. How do you take an idea and navigate through a big company structure in the family space like Disney, some of these properties that you develop with huge brands and everything from toys and merchandise? How do you get from an idea to that?
I think the first thing that's key is you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the idea wholeheartedly because it's going to take a lot of your time and energy. And unless you can put your resources, your mental resources and your creativity and have the focus to stay with it, because you're going to have these ups and downs. If you can't wrap your head around that first, then I think then it's maybe not the right idea for you, right? So I try to take the approach of looking at all the things I want to work on. Does the idea itself, is it an arena to where I can keep going and keep giving it ideas and time and energy and expand upon it, right? So, that might sound really simple, and I think it's important because, when you're interfacing with people, if your goal is to create something and then sell it, right? Another part of your job is trying to know all the answers from a storytelling standpoint of the background of all your characters, where the stories can go, not just one story, but I think, in today's day and age, you need to know that it's expansive, right. You know what the next story is and this next story after that.
And so do you build the concept of like how it can be merchandised into the story? Do you think about all the different monetization options while you're writing the story? Is that part of the process?
Well, I do. I think most writers probably just think about the story. But for me, the fun of everything, the fun of creating something is asking the questions, okay, well, could this be a record? Are these characters musical? Or is it just a soundtrack to the show?
Right.
Could this be a video game? Is it a social game? Is it a mobile app? What are all the sort of entertainment verticals that can stem from the core idea? I love that. So I will roadmap out a franchise wheel. That's what I call it, like a franchise wheel of the idea in the center. And then like, okay, is it a TV show? Is it publishing? Is it a ride? Is it a video game? And I try to fill in all the dots. And that's really helpful for me as a creator, because if you're going to go pitch the concept as a TV show, no one else is focused on the game or the publishing. That's just not their division. So what I like to do is to bring more control and more thematic coherence to the storytelling across the entire ecosystem of the idea. And I don't think most people do that, but I actually think it's an informative, helpful exercise, and I think it gets you more credit when you're walking into, whoever the buyer is, to say like, I'm not just here to sell this to you and walk away, because I think a lot of the times, when people are investing in you or an idea, they want a real captain at the helm of the creative ship that can speak to all of these different touch points. But if you're not like me in that scenario, then, I would just say focus on story is the most important.
So I think we're talking about the creative mind, and obviously you come from a huge musical sort of background and you have this sort of creative sort of process and the way that you work. You know, it seems to me that a lot of creative people I work with have this sort of outside-in thinking where they'll look at the holistic sort of map, as you just talked about, all the different value propositions that this thing can entail, which inherently would drive more value to yourself, right? Because you can talk that it has X potential, Y potential, and being able to do that, it actually drives potentially more value. But being able to stand, you know, a 10,000 foot above the product and not be so entrenched in it, how hard is that to move yourself from that position of being the story writer and also to move yourself out and look at it as a businessman and how this is monetized? Is that a hard thing for you, or is that just something that comes naturally?
You know, it's a little bit of both. You know, look, where I get tripped up is holding on too tight, right? To being too precious about the story, because I'm never afraid to ask questions. There are things I don't know. So to your point, if I'm going to try to license out the idea, I actually don't know the thresholds that will make a successful product in the marketplace. Because, you know, in a good deal, everyone is happy with the structure of the monetization of the deal, right?
Yeah.
So I would say don't be afraid to ask as many questions as possible to educate yourself, to make an educated decision in when you're making a deal. But for me, for the most part, I like to think I have a business mind as well, that, you know, can plug in the useful information around the entire franchise wheel of the idea. And, you know, I spend the time with not saying, hey, it's not me saying, okay, the center of the idea can be a video game, right? Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. I take the core idea that has a story attached to it, and then what's a different aspect of the story that is the vertical for that game, because it's not all equally the same,
right?
You know, from a storytelling standpoint, they all have different ways you would tell a story. Yeah. So it's investing in yourself, believing in yourself, and putting in the time and energy to fully bake out, you know, the concept. That's how I operate, and I enjoy that, and it served me well, you know, as a businessman and as a creative.
Well, mate, it's fantastic to have your opinion and your wisdom to share with us, and can't wait to hang out with you again real soon. And I want to thank you so much for your time, buddy.
Thank you. I miss you so much, bud. We got to hang out. Look at this, man. When are we gonna do more of this?
I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. Okay. Let's do it.
I miss you, bud. Thanks, everybody. Nice to meet you in Finland.
Okay. Take care, mate. Bye.